Hey, what is going on, everybody? You already know it's Tuesday. It's 10 p.m. It's the Fight Club 215. My name is Paul Spencer. The usual guy, Joey Woods, is not here. Let's all pray for him. His daughter's in the hospital tonight with a little breathing problem. So we're all prayers go out to you, Joey, of course, your family here. But guys, I got three gentlemen here. Listen, when you talk about Johnstown, I brought Johnstown to you tonight. Of course, right next to me is Senator Wayne Langerholc. Wayne, how you doing tonight, sir?
I'm very well. Thank you for having me.
Good, good. Right under myself is Brock Kull, owner of Kastle Boxing and Gym, trainer of the guy next to him, which he needs no introduction. Brock, how you doing tonight, sir?
Doing fantastic. Glad to be here. Thanks for having us.
Good. And this guy, at the bottom down here, he's really a nobody. Nobody knows who he is, but he's only the NABA Welterweight Champion, defending champ, as I might say, Trigger Trey. Tresean, what's going on, brother?
What's up, my man? How you doing?
I'm doing well, guys. Hey, thank you for joining us tonight. I know there's a special event coming tomorrow, I'm hearing. Is that correct? If anybody wants to tell me something going on with that one.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a big day for Tresean especially, and really Johnstown.
Mm-hmm.
There's kind of three goals that we've got, but most importantly, to really showcase Tresean to Johnstown so that they really know who their champion is, learn a little bit more about him. A lot of people know Tresean's name. A lot of people hear buzz about him, but I don't think they know Tresean the man like the four of us do.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's important to get that story out, to know what it truly, the story behind the champion, and what's really pushing the boxing movement here in Johnstown. So, that's really our goal, is to let everybody know that Johnstown's has boxing alive and well, and at the base of it is this champion right here, Trigger Tresean Wiggins.
Exactly. Now, Wayne, I know you're emceeing the event tomorrow. What can you say as adding on to what Brock said as well?
Exactly. It's just to draw attention and to build upon and to get the exposure out there to know what Johnstown has. I mean, we have a champ, and we have an excellent champ, and we want to draw attention to him. And not only that, but to what Brock's been doing here with Kastle Boxing, and that's a story in and of itself. The time that he's given, his talents, and to bring our youth, have them a place to work out, and to stay off the streets, and what he gives back to the community is fantastic. And Johnstown is a blue collar town. It's a hardworking town. People appreciate hard work. People appreciate athletics, and it's to bring the attention and to show that we have the champ here, and that we want to bring people to that warm world to watch him defend his title, and good things are on the horizon. And what Tresean has done for the community as well, serving as a role model for our youth to look up to see that they can be in a position through hard work and dedication, they can be where he's at. So it's an exciting day, and I know we're partnering with the greater chamber, the regional chamber, the old former Johnstown Chamber of Commerce, and they've embraced that with open arms. I know we had an event down there at Kastle Boxing, to bring attention to that, and we're going to just use all the connections, and that's why people join the Chamber of Commerce, is for networking and for business opportunities. We're going to put that to the max here, and we're going to draw upon all those resources and get all those people talking and create a buzz here, and get people excited so they can turn out to the War Memorial and watch the champ at his craft. And it's exciting.
Well, Tresean, give the world a little bit about you real quick. We already know you're the champ out there. We know when you do your business in the ring. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Tresean.
Yeah, well, born and raised in Newburgh, New York. You know what I mean? 5 kids from my mother, And I moved down here about, I want to say 8 years ago, not sure. Well, just me and my wife and kids and her family. And I've been here ever since, man, working. And I found Brock, I don't remember the exact year, but, man, it's pretty much been the best. I mean, that probably been the best asset of my life, man, because ever since I met him, I've been, turning over a whole new leaf from when I originally came down here, and I can't thank him enough, man.
I tell you, the one word I describe you, Tresean, is humble. Very humble. When I first met you, I watch a lot of boxing, of course, and I was watching a pay-per-view, and they were talking about the NABA, and they mentioned your name. So I was like, I've heard this name before, but let me look him up. I reached out to you on Instagram and I said, "Hey, would you like to join our podcast?" And you said, "Sure. Let me give you my number." And the next morning, about a week later, we were watching the Shakur Stevens fight in the pay-per-view at like 1 o'clock in the morning. You text me out of the blue and say, "Are you watching this fight?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm watching it. What are you doing up? You got to be at sparring tomorrow at 8 o'clock, right?" He's like, "I'm doing my homework. I'm always watching film." And that next morning, he took the time to sit with me, talk to me for a half hour, introduce me to Brock, and man, it's from there, it's just clear sailing. I mean, you guys are, Wayne, I met you, of course, at the event. You guys are very humble, and I'm glad I moved to Johnstown. Put it that way. Just like you said, it's blue collar, and here it's passionate about what everybody does. They're passionate about the entire whatever their craft is. They're passionate about.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you said three things: humble, honest, and loyal. It's a
Mhm.
rarity in an individual, and even more rare in the boxing world. And that is what Tresean has always been since the day I met him, which is why he's had 100% of my support, my team's support, my family support. He's earned that. Wayne's been an amazing resource and support for us as well. But it goes the other way around. And you mentioned, Wayne, about what we're doing at the Kastle Boxing. Our club has grown, and this is something that the message that we want to send to people. Boxing is growing at leaps and bounds. We have over 100 members at Kastle Boxing here in Johnstown, and the reason we do, a big part of that, is because we have the support of Wayne, but also the champ that comes in. You have no idea, Tresean, the difference you make whenever you pull a kid like Martez aside, and give him pointers, and that changes everything. I'm like dad to these guys. You're big brother. You're somebody that they look up to, Tresean, and that makes the world of difference. That's what keeps those kids engaged. It's so different now. You see the Kastle Boxing, and you see when we roll into fights, everybody laughs at us because, oh, here comes the Kastle guys with their bowling shirts on. Our corner shirts look like bowling shirts. The fact is, branding is everything today. Kids want to see that. And when we have that branding supported by the champ who is in there with them each weekend, talking to them, giving them support, pushing them, encouraging them, it's incredible what it's done. And that is what allows us to reach more kids in our community and to make these kids champions in the community. It's not about winning boxing matches. That's the fun part.
Right.
What it's really about is reaching these kids and making them better citizens rather than just champions in the ring. It's out in and out of the ring as well. And I don't care if they fight a single fight, because let's face it, most of the people in the gym, no, everybody in that gym is fighting some kind of a fight.
Right.
And when you have the champ that's fought all his life and is now in the ring, in my opinion, representing all of us, that says a lot. And that's why boxing is growing right here in Johnstown, because we have a champion like Tresean Wiggins.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%, Brock. The first time I had you on the show, I'm from Philadelphia, and my partner Joey's from Philadelphia as well, the host of the show as well. We love what you do for the community, just like on a sliding scale for the kids that come in, to get them off the street. I wish all neighborhoods had something like that. Living in Philadelphia, it wasn't the greatest of times down there, but what you do for the community, Brock, is very something special. And Tresean, just like Brock said, you're a big brother, and everybody can look at you as the champ, but I'll say something real quick. We all went to a sporting event where we all see our favorite player, our favorite, athlete or whatever. And there's many times where you say, "Hey, Tresean, how you doing, man?" And you walk right by. Tresean is not like that. He's the face of the neighborhood here. He's the face of Johnstown. And he always has time to either sign an autograph, shake your hand, take a picture, and sit down and talk with you. And Brock, that's like you said, that's something that's unseen with an athlete of his caliber, of his stature right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we had people travel from, the tip of the country down to the other tip. And Tresean had just fought his first 10-round fight, start to finish. He gets changed, comes out, little kid's hanging on him, tugging on his pants, and he picks him up, taking pictures with him. If you've ever been in the ring for 5 rounds, only imagine what 10 rounds. And that was a fast-paced chess match is what he was in this last fight. And that's draining. And there was not one inkling of agitation or disappointment or anything in Tresean. He was there. He is the people's champion, and he's acting like it.
Exactly. Wayne, what does it mean to you to have a champion here in Johnstown as a senator here?
It's exciting. I know we've had him down to the Capitol to be able to recognize him on the floor of the Senate, and that's just to kind of to bring the exposure and to continue to show the good work and the good story that he has. And I got to say too, whenever you are, we get a lot of visitors to the Capitol, and I have the opportunity to introduce a lot of people, a lot of my constituents, and see my other colleagues in the Senate as well, introduce a lot of people, and it's not an easy feat to get a seat on the floor. I mean, you have to be a state champion in 3 consecutive years to get a seat on the floor. Otherwise, you're up in the gallery. You got to be a national champion, and very few people get that seat on the floor. And Tresean got that. And I could just, and it just goes back to what Brock's saying about how humble he is. I'll never forget that. We have him, we give him a tour just to watch his demeanor and just to see how he felt, and it just how much it was touching to him to be in that building with the history behind it. And it was a great day, a lot of fun, and something that we can get exposure, and it's just very exciting. And there's not a place that I don't go throughout my district, and you talk about today's state of affairs with our youth, with mental health crisis, and not just children but also adults. And just I think a lot of that is born out of social media. Social media can be the greatest thing. It can also be the worst thing. Kids that are used to play outside are now attached to their phones and worried about likes and what people think about them, and connected all the time. I mean, I can think back when when I was a kid, we didn't have, I was a kid, we didn't have cell phones, and there wasn't a way, you kind of get away from that, from school, and you kind of get away and you kind of do your own thing. You go outside and play, and that's kind of lost on today's youth. And that's why it's so important. There's no greater, in my opinion, there's no greater sport out there than boxing, because you can't take any shortcuts. And if you're not in shape, you don't put in the time, it shows. You can't fake your way in that ring. And what's required to be in that ring goes to what I said all along. I used to be the chairman of the education committee, and we had a concerted effort to get kids more active. And I can remember reading studies in Runner's World, and I'm an avid runner as well, where they had a school as a pilot program, and they would take the kids every day out and then run 20 minutes, 30 minutes in the morning. That's it. And they saw such marked improvement in test scores and in behavior, because kids need an outlet. They need an outlet to burn off that steam. They don't have that now. So that's so vital. And I guess getting back to your original question, what's it mean to have a champ? It means everything, and it just brings validity to what Brock's doing. Brock's not just down there blowing smoke saying train, work hard. I mean, there's living proof. You work hard, you put in the time, you can be a champ like Tresean. So it means a ton.
It definitely does. I mean, you 3 gentlemen here are pretty much, hardworking people. You stand for what you believe. And Tresean, you're a perfect example of that. You didn't come from the best neighborhood, upgrowing, as we talked before, but what you made out of everything to me, it's a role model. There's a lot of kids out there at your gym as well, look up to you. And when you give that little kid a hug and you give him a little credit, say, hey, do this, do that, that means the world to them. That, if as long as you believe, you can achieve. That's my motto.
Absolutely. Them kids, man, I actually seen like the Montez, and I seen them in the beginning when they first came in. Man, them kids that they didn't have, they was not coordinated, man. They didn't have, you could tell that they wasn't all the way in it. But you know what I'm saying, the growth that they had from then till now, man, it was unbelievable. And that's why I'm going to make sure you got to keep telling them that, because if you don't, you know what I mean, you don't keep reminding them that, yo, good job, man. Kid, you doing good. You doing good. Keep working. If you don't tell them that, they don't believe it. If they think you're blowing smoke. But once you hear it, and then you hear it from the person that's doing it, it's coming from the same struggle, same path. You know what I mean? It speaks volume, and it goes a long way. Because them kids they look real good now, man. I love to watch them. I love to watch them, man. I love to watch them.
Good, Brock.
it's fun to watch Tresean when he's in the gym. He'll stand on the apron of the ring and just watch those kids. The older guys could be in there banging away. I mean, blood flying and everything else. Tresean will be ignoring that. Whenever the kids get in and they start moving and start looking smooth, he's all into it. You can just see him.
I love it.
It's fun to watch.
I love it, man. I love
it. It definitely is. It tells you something about Tresean where, a lot of fighters with the name, welterweight champion, NABA champion, defending champ, they see him, and Tresean, you're just so humble. When you look at that, just like I said, I've been to many sporting events, and you say hello to a player as they walk by, and it's just like, whatever. I don't have the time for you. And that means something to especially younger kids. And even myself, I'm 51, and Tresean, just meeting you was like, I told my friends on the network, I'm like, you won't believe this. The welterweight champ lives in my area. We're close. I talked to him. I got his cell phone number. They're like, you got to be kidding me. How much did he charge you? I'm like, nothing. I actually met him, And I'm like, wow, this is insane, And Brock, you're the same way. You treated me like a VIP at the event, and I appreciate that. That goes a long way. I really do appreciate you. And like I said, we'll do anything for you to help Johnstown, help Kastle, help Tresean, whatever we can do. Out of the box is here for you. We already know that.
Yeah, we appreciate that. And, Tresean mentioned about how, things started to turn around whenever we got together. And the people, anybody that knows me has heard this several times from me, is that, your level of success is completely dependent upon the ratio of good decisions to bad.
Mm-hmm.
That you make more good decisions than you do bad ones, your level of success will improve. The person that makes far more greater good decisions will be more successful than the next guy. And we continue to work on that. And that's something that I've worked on with Tresean and with everyone else. And Tre's amazing at making decisions, especially now that he's taken control of his career and understands that he's the man. He's the one that steps in that ring. He's the one responsible for literally and figuratively his life. And he can't let anyone take away from his own focus. And now that he's got that focus, there's no convincing him, oh, Tresean, you have to go train. Tresean, it's time for you to go to camp. Tresean, you're going to have to skip Christmas because, you got a fight coming up. There's not even a debate or argument. No conversation. He knows what he needs to do. He makes the right decisions, and now he's champion because of it.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I agree. Wayne, what do you have to in regards to what Brock just said about that?
I mean, it's evident just in being around him, and my wife and I had the opportunity to go down to Miami to watch him fight. Take a little vacation as well, get out of this cold weather. So it was a good time to do that as well. But just I had the opportunity to go backstage, back in the locker room before the fight, and just to see, and even at the weigh-in, and just to see his mindset, and like I said, I've been a fight fan my whole life. I mean, I grew up watching it, and that's one of my fondest memories back in. Remember whenever we didn't even have cable, I'll go back before cell phones. I'll go back before cable. And I can remember when cable came around, and my dad actually sprung for HBO, and I was like, oh my God. And that was my first kind of foray into that. And that was when they were having the tournament to unify the heavyweight title, which Mike Tyson, ultimately won. And that's, one of my fondest memories is just, getting together, watching the fights with my dad, just watching that progress. And then remember USA Tuesday night fights. That was, awesome just to watch that and just to be involved in that. And I always, loved, that was one of my favorite, and still to this day, probably one of my favorite moments is the ring walk. And I say, you talk about big time sporting events, you got the Super Bowl coming this Sunday, and that's a big event in and of itself, but there's nothing that compares to a big prize fight. And that lead up and that hype to it, and the walk to the ring, and just to watch, on TV and what song they coming out to, and they're getting ready. And I had that chance, first time in my life, to be able to go backstage like that, and just to see, even the day before, just to, feel the nerves along with him. And God, I'm not even the one getting in the ring, and I was nervous as heck too. And I don't want to tell you that. I knew you're going to win. Don't get me wrong, but just to see that, and then be backstage, and then walk to the ring and be in the ring with it, it's electric. And it's just, and I kind of said that to him for what it's worth. I don't know if, I was just trying to, make small talk or whatever, but I said, this is what you put in all that work for. This is your time to shine.
Yeah, I know.
It's just exciting.
Yeah, man, that was good, man. that people don't get to witness that. Like a few people get to witness that. And back there, we all pull together. They see I'm stressed out, but I'm trying to keep it together because I know I got a big, you know what I'm saying? I got to go step into the lion's den. But as I'm doing that, we all there. Everybody's saying a little stuff, love them saying little quotes. All that stuff is like momentum, man. It helps me. It helps me stay focused. Like, I mean, they're trusting me to go represent us all right now. It's a beautiful feeling, man. And then they say, especially when they call it up, it's time to start walking down. And that's like the best feeling ever, man. It's like I'm locked all the way in, but they still talking to me as we walking down. You know what I'm saying? Keeping me focused. That's the best feeling, man. We all come together right there at that one moment, and it feels good.
Yeah, I wish I could have been there. I had to be in Philadelphia the next morning, but as I told you and Brock, I was like, I'm trying to get plane tickets down there, not a problem. But I just had to be in Philadelphia at 8:00 in the morning, so there's no way I could do it.
Yeah.
But we did watch the fight. My entire network watched the fight. So you guys have a copy of it as well.
Right.
And I tell you, Tresean, it was just. I remember one thing you told me: the first 2 rounds, you're going to analyze it. You're like a USB. You're going to take it all in, and then the 3rd round, you start adapting. And that's what we see. Just like Brock said, a 10-round fight. It was something that it showcased your patience, your strengths, and your mobility as well. I think it was a great fight. We all loved it, and there was no way he got 2 rounds out of that. He only should have got 1. I'm going to tell you right now.
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
that's how I scored it too. He got 1.
Exactly. Right.
I mean, like I said, I don't think it was my best performance, but we still got. I mean, the next one I can guarantee you gonna be fireworks because I ain't letting it act like that no more.
Well, Tresean, since you said that real quick, we're going to jump into some more topics. But I just want to ask you real quick, since you mentioned that, who's next?
I want to fight Alexis Rocha. I mean, they think that he should be fighting Crawford next, and I'm ranked higher than him in the WBA. So if they're gonna let him fight Crawford before me, then he should come through me first. I feel like it's only fair. The kid just got a outstanding knockout just last weekend, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what are we coming off of both big wins? I think it's time. It's definitely time.
Well, listen, hey, we hashtag Don King, and he actually checked into your pay-per-view, when you were on before, Tresean. So listen, Don King, if you're out there, man, let's make this happen. Let's give Trigger Trey the opportunity. But I think we need to have a pay-per-view somewhere near us, if I'm not mistaken. Am I right or wrong?
Right, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, it needs to happen. I mean, if you think so, I can tell you, boxing in Johnstown goes back to July 4 of 1893. All right, even Wayne remembers that, right, Wayne? It goes back. That's a ways back, and there's a rich history here in Johnstown of boxing. They even simulcast the Thrilla in Manila at the War Memorial in Johnstown.
Wow.
So boxing is rich in history here. There's boxing fans that live here that care about boxing, and we owe them a show in Johnstown. And as a matter of fact, the real goal is 2 shows in Johnstown to start with. So we want to, and we're going to be making a formal announcement tomorrow during our press conference. But what we really want to do is we're working hard and rather confident that coming up here in May, we'll be able to put on a show here in Johnstown. Our goal is to fill that arena and be able to prove to Don King Productions that Tresean Wiggins is the champion that we know he is, and that he's the draw that we know he is, so that there's a point where Don King can't ignore us as a center for boxing. And with what we have with our amateur boxing in Johnstown, and Kastle Boxing is not the only boxing gym in Johnstown. There's at least one more in Johnstown. And there's MMA gyms around. The pugilistic sports and arts is alive and well here. Tons of fans, and we can fill that arena. And that's what we're going to aim to do to prove to Don King so that he brings a show. And if we can do that, it will be unparalleled. There will be nothing. That will be our legacy, that we were able to bring that to Johnstown. And I'd love to see Tresean defend his title, or let's face it, take on another one.
Right. True. Well, Tresean, we know you're going to be the champ in the ring there. We know Brock is going to supply some other fighters. Wayne, what can you do to have a Don King promotion here as a senator?
Just to promote and to continue to work with all the resources we have. And I got to give a special shout out to John DeRoche, who's running the War Memorial, who has been just phenomenal. from the beginning whenever Brock kind of pitched this idea. And not just to mention, this event, but what they're doing at the War Memorial, and that being such a key piece of the puzzle as far as entertainment options within the greater Johnstown area. And it's not just, Johnstown specific, but the draw that has across the region, and being able to tap into his marketing and being able to tap into, like I said, the Chamber of Commerce, and what Amy Bradley's doing there with the Chamber of Commerce has been tremendous. She has grown the Chamber by leaps and bounds. Just giving more network opportunities. Those are the things that we're going to use all those, available resources to get the word out, and, whatever business sponsorships we can get, to come in with that, as well as just to, like Brock said, filling the arena, putting people in those seats. And there's an appetite for it. And, Johnstown, as I said, is a blue collar town, and people appreciate, athletics, and they appreciate boxing. And I think they'll be ready to turn out and support the champ.
I agree with you. I think it's going to fill this, the entire arena there. I mean, it's an iconic stadium arena as well. I didn't know. I'm not a hockey fan. When I first moved here, I took a picture of it, and all my people from my podcast network, did you know the movie Slapshot was filmed there? I'm like, I didn't know that. The things like that. I don't watch hockey, but just a name like that, a movie, of course, goes back a long way. But yeah, boxing is huge here. I didn't think it would be that big in Johnstown when I moved, but seeing Kastle boxing and all the young athletes that are training now, from age 5 all the way to being a champ like Tresean is, it goes a long way. And that starts with, you, Tresean, of course, putting in the work, Brock in your corner 24/7, and you got a man behind you just like Wayne there, who's always sponsored you and always has the back of you. You have, when you fight, you're not only fighting for yourself, you're fighting for a community, and we're all behind you 100%.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate that, man. I love the resources that I got right now, man. These guys treat me like family. I'm looking forward for the future endeavors and taking this a long way, man. With all the cities on my back, man. Definitely.
But real quick, I want to say something now. We do have a Super Bowl coming up real quick this weekend, I believe, right?
Yeah, the Eagles are playing, remember?
I think so. Now, one of my guys here, of course, Brock is an Eagles fan too, but Joey checked in. We need to talk about your football team's choices here. He's seen your video that you called them out with. I'll let you and Brock go back and forth for a second. I'm a Cowboys fan, so it's been 27 years. I'll stay out of it, okay? So it's been a long time. But Brock, since you're the trainer here, I'll let you start first. Have a couple words with Tresean about the Super Bowl here.
I mean, you know how it's going to go. You saw what the Eagles did to Purdy Brock, right? I thought I was the only one. Like, they thought they were going to run all over. They had the #1 defense and this fantastic offense, and they did nothing. And everybody says, "Oh, they lost their quarterback." Well, yeah, because we took them out. And what do you think Patrick's going to do with a bum wheel? It's just going to be ugly, man.
No, I don't think so, man. I don't think so. I mean, the Eagles are a good team. Jalen Hurts is an excellent quarterback. But, KC, man, Mahomes sprinkle that magic on it, it's over.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. I mean, he definitely makes me nervous. And I'm not going to lie. I was rooting for Kansas in the Super Bowl because you can't not like to watch Patrick Mahomes play. Right. He plays like we did on a playground. Right? The stuff that he does. I watched that guy run into the sidelines as Kelsey runs across with him. And he just does a Kareem over to, and gets the ball to Kelsey. And it's crazy. It's like, any other coach would freak out, but Andy Reid just turns around. So,
I knew I loved him. I knew I loved him when it was like, I forgot what team we played. And it was like real close with a couple seconds left on the 4th down. And Andy Reid was getting ready to put the field goal team in. And he told Andy Reid, like, no, keep him out. I got this. I was like, what? And I could not believe he did it. I think I've never seen it happen. And sure enough, he got us in that end zone. I was like, I'm a big fan of this kid, man. Big fan of him.
Yeah. Well, it's gonna be fun.
Let me ask you, what do you guys think the final score is going to be?
I'd say 24-17. Something like that around there.
Wayne, what do you got this score as? We're outsiders here,
Well, yeah, I mean, this is I'm a Steelers fan.
Yes.
But I got to say that I just think that the Eagles are a far better team here. I think they win I don't. Unfortunately, I think it's much of a game. I think they win by at least 10, maybe.
Woo!
Wow.
Did you hear that? Oh, you broke the champ's heart.
Tresean, you know I love you, man. I'm scared to get hit by you when I'm going to stay here, but I agree. I think the Eagles are so superior here, and just like Brock said, Mahomes has a bad wheel right now. We don't know what it is about. We don't know if he can pull that magic out. So I'm going to have to go Eagles 31-24.
He's going to do any and everything to get us that win. I can guarantee you that, and I'm a whole 100% behind that for sure.
Hey, Brock, I got a question for you. Do you own an Eagles jersey?
Do I own one?
Yes, sir.
I got a Brian Dawkins autograph jersey.
You know what? I think we have a little friendly bet here, Tresean, don't we?
No, you can't have that. You can't have my B-Dog jersey. I don't care.
Can't have that one, no.
Well, did you hear? I heard that. I mean, the story obviously with Philly and with Rocky and that city's love affair, obviously, but their coach before, I think it was before the NFC Championship game, playing No Easy Way Out for him to get them all pumped up. I mean, that iconic scene of Rocky IV. So, I mean, come on, as a boxing fan, you got to be pulling for the Eagles.
And it's exactly right.
I tell you what, growing up in Philadelphia, being a Cowboys fan, I don't know if you guys ever heard of the bar called Chicky and Pete's.
Oh, yeah.
I live 4 doors right from the original down in Mayfair. And the back of my SUV had a star on it that said 5-time Super Bowl champions. This guy came out with 2 bricks, bricking my entire car. All the windows were smashed. I'm watching the guy, videoing the guy like, wow, keep going. Yeah, go ahead, keep going. Do what you got to do. But I tell you, that city, 2 things you don't mess with. You don't mess with Eagles fans, and you don't mess with Rocky statue.
Right.
I've learned that. You know.
That's it. I mean, how dumb can you be? Not you. I'm sorry, but I mean, and here's the thing: the Philly police. If you would have, when you turn that in, they'd be like, "What did you expect?"
Exactly. Yeah. Very true. Mm-hmm.
I didn't see nothing.
Exactly. You're lucky you still have a frame on your car. That thing should have been burned. That's what they would say. But yeah. But getting back to something real quick, Brock, I want to start with you here. Let me ask you, what does Kastle offer?
Oh, well, you know what? What we offer is a home and a safe place for people to be who they are and what they want to be, and each day to be better than they were the previous day. It doesn't matter what their goal is. Boxing's just a vehicle, and we've got all the equipment to get you there. And if you just want to come sit and watch, and that makes you feel better, then that's what you do. And we embrace all levels, all ages, and all reasons. And that's what makes us different. But it also is a neat way of getting people who wouldn't otherwise be interested in the competition part of boxing. Because once they see that and they realize, and I always say this, our fighters are scientifically trained. And I don't mean it as a science where we're changing your biometrics, although we work on that. But truly, we have the equipment that we can prove that if you get your mechanics correct, you can create more power by speed, and you can move in different manners, to move the opposite way, to walk into punches. We put that all together. And we actually have a Newton meter that we actually were able to measure power and speed of a punch. And we worked on it. By the way, in our gym, including with AJ Trey, my punch was the most powerful punch. And it's not because I'm the strongest.
I haven't done it yet.
You haven't. You're exactly right. And you're not allowed now. But it was fun it also became a measuring contest, if you know what I'm saying, after a while. But what it is we're able to say, okay, do it your way. And you remember the movie Days of Thunder? Mm-hmm. He said you make three laps your way and then do 3 laps my way, and we'll show you which one's fastest. It's kind of that way. Go ahead and punch this thing as hard as you want. Heavyweights, everybody hit as hard as they want. And then I'm going to show you the right way of doing it, of using all the biomechanics to prove that you do it the correct way, that speed produces power. And when you can do it the right way, starting with your feet all the way to the end of your punch, that power is generated. And you don't have to be strong to do it. You just have to be smart and scientifically trained. And that's the difference. But when people start to see that, to get back to your question, when people start to see that, it gets their minds working. And how can I do that? How can I create that? And even if they don't ever compete, now they're learning how to use their bodies in a manner that God intended.
Agree. Now I know you guys broke ground on something, correct, Brock?
Yeah, so we have an extension that we're building on our building. Originally, it was going to be an extension for the spin bikes, and we quickly realized, based upon some people who have been doing training, including AJ is doing personal training, Carly's doing personal training, and now I'm proud to say my daughter Gabby is.
Mm-hmm.
She's doing something really cool too. We can talk about that if you got time. But
Mm-hmm.
made it going to be our studio where they can do just personal training away from everybody. There'll be mirrors in there and some, I don't know exactly what those bars are, but that's what that's for.
Okay. Well, tell us what Gabby has going on, because I see her on Instagram, and I tell you what, if I can have a physique anything like her, I'm doing it. I'm doing it, Brock. 100%.
Yeah, I have no idea where she gets it because it isn't for me. And hours of work for sure, but she certainly is, a 4'11" anomaly. But she, many people know Gabby's a licensed psychotherapist.
Mm-hmm.
And she loves athletics. She's been a gym rat since she was a little kid. Again, 4'11", shooting guard, walking on to the college basketball court. That just doesn't happen for normal people. So Gab's not normal. They just say that, but she wanted to earn some extra money to pay off her student loans. By the way, if you know any way she can do that way, let me know, because she's about 6 figures in the hole right now. But so she's trying to earn some more money, and she said, I want to start to do personal training. I said, why don't you find, and this is another thing we teach at Kastle Boxing is, find ability and do that. What makes you different? And when we think about that, Gabby's an athlete, and there's a lot of athletes and there's a lot of personal trainers, but how many of them are licensed therapists that can do therapy with you as well as the true gym therapy? So she's putting it together with the therapy, the mental therapy and the gym therapy together to help mind and body work together. And it's growing leaps and bounds already.
Definitely. Because I know you guys have the kickboxing, of course, with Carly, as well as spin class, the boxing, the strength training, and everything. Is there anything else that you guys have going on, or we're getting into the future with Brock?
Yeah, there's beginners jiu-jitsu that's there. And another neat thing that we're working on right now that's coming out, and hopefully Tony doesn't kill me for saying this. I think he's cool with it, but we're coming out with something called battle fitness. The battle fitness really is, you think about football in the trenches. You have that battle, the hands and the feet are so critical. So we're collaborating with a couple of people that are going to teach the speed and agility of and footwork for football, combine it with conditioning, combine it with boxing, and that's going to be our battle fitness. And we're pretty excited to roll that out real soon.
Okay. That's awesome. I mean, it's something for everybody. Kastle, Kastle is just not boxing. It's, it's a place to be, place to learn, place to learn and get friends, basically. I mean, it's a great thing. I see what you guys are doing, and I commend you. The first time I met you, Brock, Tresean as well, I said, you guys are doing wonders for this community. You definitely are. Something that you don't see a lot in good areas, in even bad areas. You don't see things like that. But what you guys do for the community, I give you 100% respect, 100%. Definitely do.
Yeah, we appreciate that. And that's why we moved where we moved to. We needed to be there.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Wayne, is there anything else you want to add regarding what Kastle does? I know what Brock does here as a gym owner and trainer, but as a senator, what in your eyes does Kastle offer the community?
Just opportunities for youth in the Johnstown area. And you can't put a price tag on that. And, like Brock said, I think right at the outset of this, he's like, we don't care if they set foot in the ring or whatever. He's there. He's doing it for the kids and for the community. And, having the WBA champ is gravy on top of that. So, I mean, it's good. But it's easy to get behind that. And, I represent 3 different counties, about 270,000 people. My new district is all of Cambria County, all of Clearfield County, and the western part of Center County, so everything west of State College Borough. and there's no shortage of people knocking on my door, either at the Capitol, my office in the Capitol, or one of my district offices, and asking for money. How can the state help? How can we get some funding and things like that? And one thing that, I always look at is, how's this going to impact the community? Number one, how many people is this going to help? Is this the best bang for the buck? And not only that, but is this going to come to fruition? Because you learn pretty quick in this job, who's blowing smoke and who's legitimate, who's really, means what they say and they can back it up. And that's Brock to a T. I mean, if he tells you, something's good to go, it's good to go. I mean, you don't have to ever worry about that or the impact of how it's going to reach or how far reaching it is. And what him and what Tony Penna, have been doing down there is tremendous. I mean, that is just, above all, you couldn't ask for a better blueprint there. And that's only going to continue to grow, and the impact that they're having on those kids, give them a chance. I remember whenever, Brock was putting in that garage door, and how excited he was to be able to have that, to let the kids can see what's going on. It's summertime and they're walking around, they say, hey, maybe I'll go check that out. And then I don't know how many, that led to how many people coming in, but I know that, they're making that impact there, and they're doing great work, and that's what's important. We want to make our community a better place, and better than what we left it. And that's why, one of the reasons why I stayed around in this area. I could have went, somewhere else in the state and probably made a ton of money, but it was that coming back to this community and helping the community that I was fortunate enough to grow up in, and I wanted to raise. My wife and I have 3 daughters. I want to raise them here, and the impact it has, and make the community a better place. At the end of the day, that's all that matters.
I agree.
Really, that's what, and I think that's what Brock's legacy. I'm not trying to put you in the grave or anything here, Brock, but your last thing, you got a lot of years left, and we got a lot of fights to win.
Right.
But that's your legacy, and it's the lasting legacy. Is you have truly made a difference in the lives of Johnstown youth. And we thank you for that.
And I thank you again, Wayne. That if it wasn't for you helping us make that possible, we'd be stuck. And so again, you talk about sponsors, you talk about people that are looking to invest. Again, we're looking for people who want to be real floor, right? Who believe in what we believe in, building a community, building a real champion, supporting a true champion who believes in our community and is a hard worker. And again, when you learn Sean's story, and if you're able to attend that, and I know you'll be there, Wayne, and hopefully you'll be there, Paul, the press conference tomorrow, you'll learn more about Tresean the man and what he's done. But the fact that he's chosen to work the way he works and to grow in our area, to lay roots here when he wouldn't have to continue to be here is something of a phenomenon to me, because he doesn't have to be. Again, when you talk to people, they're surprised that we have the NABA champion right here in our backyard, and people think I'm full of it when I say it, and until I'm like, yeah, right there's a picture, and I have to show pictures. Yeah, that's me right there with him. And not that it's not fun to do, but it certainly is. You gotta really get people to believe that. And that's really what we're trying to do with this mission right now, starting tomorrow with the press conference, getting people to believe in what we're doing and Tresean's about, getting sponsors to want to support him so that he can focus on his training and have a shot at that world title. And, we said, this second title defense that wasn't the goal. That was just another rung in the ladder to being world champion. This man's not done yet. He's got a long way to go. We're just trying to, they say you can't skip the rungs. We don't want to take any big steps, but we want to take a lot of them as quick as we can. We've got to get there. We know we can. And with the support of our community, we will be what we know Tresean can be. And, getting the backing from our community is going to drive that. We've got more big things. Thanks to Tresean, I met some key people. Now, Ray Mancini's one. He's been my hero for a long time. I've got pictures with Ray. We've had him in Johnstown to speak before, but now I can actually talk to him personally because of Tresean. Cam, the Galaxy Warrior. We have a deal. We're going to be bringing him to Johnstown. He's a former world champion. He's going to be coming to Johnstown to do a clinic for the kids. And, bringing that world champion to Johnstown to do this clinic in hopes that we'll create that template and continue to build on the commitment to boxing and the core base that we've got, so that whenever Trey is world champion, he feels compelled to bring that back to our community as well. So the more we give to him, I believe, the more we'll get back from that world champion that we're creating in Tresean Wiggins.
Sure.
Agreed.
Yeah, and he's got a great story to tell. And actually, I'm going to ask a question here. It just came to my mind. Tresean, who were some of the fighters that you kind of idolized or watched and kind of growing up, and who? And then I'm going to have a follow up. Who is the best pound for pound fighter you ever saw fight?
Ooh, wow.
Now, and we'll kick it out to everybody too. And it has to be somebody that you personally saw, not like way back in the day. But who did you like growing up, and then who's your best pound for pound fighter?
Well, I like growing up. Joel Casamayor has been my favorite fighter. That's why I learned the style from him. I mean, I knew how to box, but I didn't know really. You know what I'm saying? I didn't really know too much about the left-handed style. But when I started watching him, I watched this guy so much. It's like I kind of practically knew him personally, but I never met him. But I felt like I knew him personally. That's how much I watched him. You know what I'm saying? So I used to watch him, and I just liked how slick he was, how dirty he was, and he was just so smooth with it, man. I mean, if you ever seen Joel Casamayor, you gotta watch him. He's a phenomenal fighter, man. And he's a world champion, former world champion, but he's not like a really known guy. He's not like a Floyd Mayweather, or not a big name, but he fought some tough guys, man. And he was real sharp, and he's one of my favorite. He might be my favorite fighter, man, of all time. And my pound for pound, I don't know. I mean, it might be Crawford, man. Because Crawford, you know what I'm saying, he's versatile. He can fight from both ways. It's like fighting two people in there, man. And I just like the way his style. And he got that X factor that when he's like, he can turn on and it's like, you know what I'm saying? If the fight's close, you give him, you know what I'm saying? If the fight's close, and I mean, his coach, I remember when the commentator asking his coach in the corner, like, he asked him why, if he knows he's getting beat, you know what I'm saying, he's losing right now from the right hand stance, why won't he switch? And he was like, no, he'll switch when he feel it. You know what I'm saying? I felt like that was a key thing right there. Like he when he feel it, cause sure enough, soon as he continued to fight right handed, but the second he switched, he took off on him and he got the stoppage. You know what I'm saying? That's a big thing for me, man, because he felt it and he know it, and his coach trusted him, you know what I'm saying, to make that decision when it was time, and he did it. That type of stuff makes you a pound for pound fighter, man.
Okay. Wayne, since you asked the question, well, let me ask you the same thing.
It's easy for me. The best pound for pound fighter I ever saw fight personally with my eyes, Roy Jones Jr. No doubt.
I have to agree. That's what I was going to say.
No doubt. I mean, he's just up until I think right whenever when he went up in weight and fought John Ruiz and won the heavyweight title. I think it was a WBA title. And then after that, though, it was just he was never the same. I don't know, Brock and Tresean, you may know this, but I mean, do you think that had an impact? Going up from he started out as middleweight, super middleweight, and then he went up he was light heavyweight for however long, and then went to heavyweight. And then when he came back down, I think I don't know if it was the first fight after he came back down, he got knocked out by Tarver. I mean, bad knocked out.
When he went over to Poland and fought and got knocked out, I actually cried. I know exactly where I was. I listened to the fight while I was cutting my grass, and it was just like, man, it was killer. It was killer. And and again, it does take a lot out of you. And Tresean and I have had conversations about weight cuts, because Trey talks a lot about, I'm going down to 140. That's sort of money I can tear that up in 140, which I don't disagree. But as you get older, and my litmus test was 32. I hit 32 and my metabolism went, it's like it was so much harder. So it's like God put on an emergency brake. And up until that point, I could eat anything always, and everything changed, and it got harder and harder to cut weight and to get where I needed to go. And then it became, just a real battle, and it drains you to gain that weight, to cut that weight, and for your body to be able to metabolize and adjust. it's hard on you. It really is. And people don't understand that and what fighters go through just to do that. And, unless you see it, just like you witnessed, Wayne, with Tresean, whenever Don King, being the orator that he is, and also the always late person that he is, how cranky Tresean Wiggins became because the man wanted to eat.
Yeah, I was aggravated, man. It take a lot to make that weight, man. And he want to take his time first, get there. Then when he get there, have a whole speech and a half. Oh,
talking to the girls and everything else.
Right.
Yeah. I don't care about paychecks coming from you. Shut up and sit down.
Tresean, let me ask you, after your weigh-in, what did you eat after the weigh-in? Since you were damn hungry, what did you eat?
Here we go.
Yeah, we went to actually the senator, man. He treated us all, the whole team, to this restaurant called La Carrera. Oh man, it was phenomenal, man. It's a Spanish food spot.
Shout out, it's Cuban, right?
Cuban spot, yeah. Oh man,
that may have been the best meal I had in South Beach when we were there. That was phenomenal.
Yeah,
it's like the third time we've been there.
Yeah,
you guys. Yeah,
wait, tell them what else.
Guys is pound for pound. You got to tell me your pound for pound best fighter.
So I'll just say, so I'll go straight up. Again, mine is Roy Jones Jr. as well. Okay. But my favorite fighter is Mickey Ward. For me, again, I wasn't a great fighter, but that was kind of my style. I'd get in, walk through a couple of punches, as you can tell, with the busted nose, the busted ear, and everything else. But that was I always, that tough guy, moving through, walking through, and banging to the body is really just, I always admired how he could do that and physically endure that. As a blue collar guy, it was just incredible. And that trilogy, is just, you can't, I'll put that up against anything. I don't care what fighters they are. You watch those fights. It was just incredible. So Roy Jones, for pure fighting ability, it was incredible to see him fight without even having a trainer. I mean, he really didn't have a trainer until he came back with Tommy Yankello. So to resurrect his career.
You could say the same about Chico Corrales, man, because Chico Corrales was like that too, man.
Yeah,
He was. That was a bad man.
Absolutely. Yep.
Well, speaking of Roy Jones Jr., did you guys see who he's fighting next?
Yeah, I saw that.
He's fighting again.
Yeah,
he's fighting a C fighter, Pettis. Yeah, it's like an exhibit. It's like a Mayweather exhibition fight.
Yeah. It breaks my heart.
It does, doesn't it?
Roy don't stop.
Here's the thing with Roy. Again, I do believe that he's not stupid. He's a businessman first and foremost, and most good boxers are. There's no dumb champions. I say this all the time, and so with that, he knows what he's getting into.
Agree. My favorite fighter was actually, this might sound crazy, but mine was actually Manny Pacquiao. I just love watching this guy fight. I mean, a warrior, 50 years old. He's the governor, and he still goes out there and just does what he has to do. Just going back from ages when I was younger, still watching him fight to, full capacity. He gives 100% no matter what he does, and that's just to me. But Roy Jones Jr. is the pound per pound fighter for me as well.
Yep.
Great.
There you go, Trey. I just thought, we always talk about, I have a lot of fighters that come and say, Coach, I want to go pro. Will you train me? And the first thing I look at is, do you have an education? Do you have a backup plan? Because all it takes is one punch, right, Tresean? Right, one punch, and you're who knows where you are then. Yeah. So, I always watch that. And, Tresean, maybe your backup plan could be governor. I mean, Wayne, hook us up, man.
We can get behind that.
Tresean, if that happens, I'll be your PR and your Twitter guy for you, okay?
Right.
Yeah, but let me ask you guys a question. We're not all boxing fans here, of course. Are we ever going to see Spence and Crawford fight?
No.
Not now. You will someday, the same as you're seeing Roy Jones fight.
When it doesn't matter.
Right.
Like whenever Mayweather fought Pacquiao.
Yes.
And again, though, so everybody, and Tresean might disagree with me because he's in those trenches. But as a businessman, you got to understand that you have to make business decisions. If I can make just as much or almost as much money without risking my health, my safety as much, and my wallet and my title, Why would I take that fight?
Yeah.
Other than saying I beat the best. And so, but the armchair boxing fan, they're always, he's a bomb. He's not taking that fight. I can't believe they won't do that. But what people have to understand that boxing's the only sport that doesn't have a pension, a health care plan, anything to protect us.
Right.
So we have to make business decisions for ourselves and our fighters. If we're not making smart decisions, who's going to take care of us?
Right, and that's right, and I didn't understand that early on, man. I was just like, I want to fight the toughest guys. That's why you see early on in my career, I fought the stuff like the undefeated prospects and the guys, the hometown guys, because I'm like, yo, I want to fight the best. But then it wasn't until I met Danny Garcia at his training camp, and he was like, yo, dude, you take the easiest fight for the most amount of money, man. You know what I'm saying? Because when you're done, they're just gonna be on to the next best thing. And I was like, this is coming from a champ. He was getting ready to fight Zab Judah when we were sparring up there, at the time. And he was like, yo, you're supposed to take the easiest fights for the most amount of money. Now, sometimes you are, you got to step to your business, but, man, that's rarely, man. Take the easiest fights for the most amount of money. Don't care what nobody else thinks. And it didn't make sense to me then, but trust me, I understand now.
It's a business for sure.
Yeah.
And again, there's nothing to fall back on. Nobody to take care of these fighters. Even at the show, right? They say it all the time. If you get injured at the fight, don't leave without telling them. You leave, you're done. They don't even protect you. You don't
right.
cover your medicals, nothing.
Wow.
You're on your own.
Wow. Well, when we get out here, I just want to go back to the press conference tomorrow. How do people get in there? Where is it at? I already know where it's at, but somebody let me know, is there a cost to get in there? What time the door is open? What we look forward to? And what time should we be there?
Yeah, so it's going to be an intimate situation, although we do have seats there for at least 30 people. So, we invite anybody that wants to come down and check it out. It starts at 2:00. I get there, around 1:30, quarter till at the latest. We do want to start promptly. We're going to have the senator there. I know he's a busy man. Tresean's got stuff to do. I'll be working that day as well, tomorrow as well. So certainly we're going to get it moving as quickly as we can, starting at 2:00. The press will be there. We certainly want them to be there. Our friends from the chamber, shout out, Deborah and Amy and Jen helping us out, and Jean for really helping us at First Summit Arena to make this happen. Without those people, there's no way we'd be able to pull this off and get the word out about, again, the People's Champion, Tresean Wiggins. But come on down, check us out. Listen for some more specifics of the good news of what we're planning. And, again, just come enjoy, rub elbows with Tresean Wiggins, the champion.
Wayne, do you have anything to add on to that?
No, just, show up. And we need all the support of Johnstown.
Well, I'm pretty sure I'll be there tomorrow, and I think I'm going to go live on Out of the Box if that's okay with you guys for the whole conference. Is that okay with you guys?
Sounds good.
All right, we'll go live on Out of the Box. Definitely. As long as I don't get hit by Tresean, for being, saying the Eagles are going to win this game. I just don't want to get hit by Tresean with that trigger tray jab,
Nah, you got it, man.
So listen, guys, we're trying to put together a little get-together up at my buddy Rob's place, Woodside, to watch the game. A little friendly competition between Kansas City fans and Eagles fans. So anybody wants to join us up there, enjoy having you up there and again, getting to know everybody a little bit better and having a good time.
All right. You know what, guys? I feel out of the box. Of course, my family is out of the box. You guys are my family as well here. You guys know the door is always open if you have anything going on. Wayne, Brock, Tresean, know that. Let me know. We can go live. You can run it to the Facebook community, whatever you want to do. But Brock, as you said, you have a little get-together. I don't know if you guys know, but I have a 130-inch projector screen in my movie room. So I think maybe we all get together one night and watch a pay-per-view boxing match, as friends, whatever. We can, pick a fight, whatever we want to do, and just have fun and watch it. Invite people over. It's a good time. That's what the community is about. That's what I enjoy about Johnstown.
Sounds good.
Yeah, we love that. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. We have to cover the Dallas stuff, but other than that, we're good.
I just have a little Dallas stuff. That's it. You haven't seen my rec room yet.
A little bit. Yeah.
But guys, before we get out of here, I'm going to play a 1-minute video here. We'll be back to wrap up the show. We'll be back in 1 minute to close the show out. All right, thank you for tuning in. That's all our sponsors out there. Kastle Boxing is one of our best sponsors. Tresean, you already know. Wayne, we can get you on there too. What the hell? We'll put your law office on there as well. You know, we're family here. We'll do that. But guys, please always hit that subscribe button on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. We always have something on. Brock said we're actually going to get everything that Brock has. We're going to put it on our label as well, so you guys can stay tuned to Out of the Box. And whatever you hear Brock say, you'll see it on Out of the Box as well. We'll give you a whole lineup as well. So before we get out of here, Wayne, I'll let you close it out. Where can they find you at, sir? I know where you're at, but where can they find your Twitter? Where can they find you if they have any problems? Because I need a couple streetlights in my area up here.
Sure. So Facebook page is just Senator Wayne Langerholc, and I have a district office here in Cambria County, which is in Richland Township on Eisenhower Boulevard. The phone number there is 814-266-2277, and we can help with any state-related matters, driver's licensing issues, birth certificate issues, things of that nature. Any rent rebates, just the whole panoply of things. So happy to help and glad to be here.
Gotcha. Brock, where can they find you at, my man?
Kastle Boxing, right there, Big Dog built 106 Fairfield Avenue in the west end of town, right where we need to be. And you can always give us a call. Check us out on Facebook, on Instagram, and Twitter.
Gotcha. Well, Tresean, where can they find you at?
You can also find me at Kastle Boxing. Or you can hit me on Instagram at Derail Trigger Trey. Well, Derail Trigger. Sorry.
Yeah, that's the old one.
Gotcha. Definitely. So, guys, for myself, Paul Spencer, Senator Wayne Langerholc, Brock Kull, Trigger Tresean Wiggins, we'll be out of here. We'll see you next week, hopefully with an Eagles win. I'm sorry, Trey. But all right, gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. We're going to play the last video, and we'll see you next week, Tuesday, 10 p.m., Fight Club 215.
Thank you, fellas.